my voice is a little cooked right now. So if it sounds like I'm trying to do some shitty ass accent, you know, just cool your jets, you know, just calm it down a little because I'm not, alright? I'm a little bit sick, but we're going to jump right on into this. I think we can all admit that right now. The Roblox combat scene is absolute horse. And it's simply because it mainly consists of one genre, Battlegrounds games, which in my opinion, it's kinda killed combat. So in order to really decipher how this has happened, let's take a look at the biggest inspiration of this genre, ABA.
Welcome back to another video. This is going to be the last time I play ABA on this channel. ABA has been a pretty big part of my channel, and I've done 277 videos. This one's going to be the 78th.
Hi, sleeping, man.
Oh yeah, let's do it. It's me talking.
Now I'm gonna be honest, I hate this game. The controls are clunky, the game looks like ass, which doesn't surprise me because there's like 200 characters in this goddamn game. But enough of the yap. Let's talk about why I think this game was such a big inspiration. And it is simply because of the combos and the way they start. You'd find that most games now, they all rely off an M1 combo. And that's basically how ABA went. You'd start it off with a couple M1s, use a move, maybe switch it up, go in the air, I don't know, whatever floats your boat. But this pace of dash in and try to land an M1 starts to become a frequent choice of combat in Roblox. The other game I also believe has inspired the combat of today, and not just Battlegrounds games. I'm talking about End the JoJo game. Now although this game is a lot like use M1s and then use a move sort of thing, but that's not what I'm trying to say here. As soon as you join this game, it was straight hands. There were no round mechanics, there was no teams, you could pick any character and just start fighting. Some things are starting to align if you ask me. But anyway, with these two dropping the standard of combat games, let's fast forward a little bit, just before the release of the strongest Battlegrounds. The filler arc. This isn't trying to be a sponsor or anything. I'm just like talking about the time period sort of after ABA or after End the JoJo game and then like before strongest Battlegrounds, because let's be real, not much happened here. Like the only games I can think of right now is like Combat Warriors and Zoe Samurai, which is why we're talking about them. And if you were worried that I'm gonna chuck a sponsor in there, then don't worry because I can't get one of those. So smash like, smash subscribe. And let's just talk about some games that dropped and did well during this weird ass time period. Starting with Combat Warriors, which actually dropped before End the JoJo game in 2019. But let's be real, the game only became relevant when they had the Great Sword.
This game, dude, that's probably the best advice, man. You're not gonna unlock the Dragon Slayer in one day. Like, definitely not. But yeah, I'm actually curious.
But a game called Combat Warriors, you could expect some good, which it kind of was some good. It was pretty simple with a parry, attack, and movement, but something this simple ended up coming pretty polished with some nice visuals. But the biggest problem just became greed for this game. Definitely not a reoccurring theme that is going to slowly burn this game down. Next up in the year 2021, a game I honestly used to sweat my little nutsack off was Zoe Samurai, which followed that same technique of joining and just throwing hands, while also being able to switch weapons for a bit of a variety. But enough yap, it's time for the strongest Battleground. The strongest Battlegrounds releases, and this shit is popping off, bro. No one can keep their grabby little hands off this game, and it was simply because of one reason. It wasn't trying to do too much.
Are you a new player looking to get a head start?
Damn it, I saw probably the coolest Roblox anime game I have ever seen.
Within the first 5 minutes of your experience, you learn the controls, and you also get hit with one of these.
And now on YouTube, I'm sure you guys have seen people dress up to be the weakest dummy.
I joined Saitama game for the first time, and now it's called the strongest Battlegrounds. It has 3 billion visits, 200,000 active players, 2 million favorites.
This game is so easy to find toxic people.
This game has 3 core mechanics: move, combo, predict. I'm no developer, but I know that Roblox Studio is pretty far behind and doesn't really allow for advanced mechanics. So when a game manages to innovate and polish their work, then the future is kind of set. Back to the core mechanics. Move relates to our dashing system, side dash, back dash, and forward dash. All of these are used to create distance or start a combo. A series of attacks that can be utilized to keep your opponent stunned through our 4 moves at the bottom, along with the criminal M1s that have been used in just about every game. But the easiest way to start a combo is to predict your opponent. This relates to evasives, zoning, and knowing what your enemy is thinking about. Now mix this in your little cocktail with some clean VFX and online toxicity, and what we have is a game that's about to ruin Roblox Combat for the next 3 years to come. It only took 2 months for clones to already start dropping him. But I'm mainly going to go over Jujutsu Shenanigans and Heroes Battlegrounds. But Heroes Battlegrounds did technically drop a year later, but you keep it to yourself. These games only managed to keep a community and survive because of 2 things: updates and difference. We had JGS focus on a slower paced combat with characters that weren't made to be competitive, rather just fuck around. And considering the JJK community is a little crazy,
Michael, don't leave me here. This is my house. Michael!
You could imagine they'll pop their little heads off for this. And then we had Heroes Battlegrounds, which was a lot more fast-paced, better balancing. If you couldn't redefine the drama, then your game was dead from the start. And even today, games like Jump Showdown, they're only going to be played when updated, which leads us to the cycle we're in now. No. The cycle continues, and it will for a long time. Even after the strongest battlegrounds went on hiatus for a year, the player count was still reaching around 100k. This little time gap made it so other devs, thought they could have a chance, They thought they could override the genre, but the community mainly consists of iPad kids and the unemployed. I definitely have a job considering I'm talking about Roblox Combat. So, how do we break this cycle? I could tell you not to play these games, and even if everyone who watched this video did actually stop playing Battlegrounds games, that shit doesn't mean anything, let's be real here. So here's a message to the devs, the people who put their heart and soul into this oversaturated ass genre. I know you're making your bag, or maybe you're trying to make a bag, but be different, bro. Keep searching for the idea that actually makes a game a game. But when there is a formula that's easy to follow, and the only real effort you need is animation and some VFX, many fall for the trap. So how do games that are original see the daylight of this oversaturated genre? The devs can't do anything about this, but you know who can? This section of the video was meant to be like, the Roblox Corporation, what are they doing with their money? Why are they supporting games like Grow a Garden? And reality is it's because they want money. So I did have this whole section planned out, but it didn't really fit with the theme of combat. So I'm just going to end it on a little bit of a conclusion. I think it is kind of obvious that, Roblox supports these games just because of money. And really, I didn't really want to talk about that. It's kind of not my field. It's not why I'm making the video. Making the video for combat and really only combat. And, Roblox is already kind of getting flamed right now for Schlep, which I do not feel sorry for them. They completely deserve this. But it just didn't really fit with the theme, so I'm just going to end it on a little bit more of a, sort of a weird note. You know, there are games, you know, Roblox isn't the only gaming site. Like there are other games. And I think people just, like, need a bit more inspiration, need a bit more push. Maybe they need a better game to play. But Roblox is just not it right now, so I don't really know what to talk about for this last bit, except, you know, the main notes of Roblox Corporation is that, you know, the devs get around 33% of the money spent on their game, and Roblox takes the rest. And at the end of the day, you know, maybe play a different game, make a different game, try a different game, I don't know. But maybe it ain't that deep. If you made it this far, thanks. You know, I don't have a lot of subs. I'm not here to beg you for any. But what I am here to beg you for is some ideas. And I know part of this is about finding ideas, but I'd love to hear you guys, you know, let me know in the comments what games you want me to check out. And that's really about it. So, I'll see you later.